In the hills of Desert Memorial Park in Cathedral City, California, lies one of the most heavily guarded graves in America. No flowers from fans, no casual visitors. Just round-the-clock security watching over a simple headstone that reads Francis Albert Sinatra. The best is yet to come. But why does a man who died over 25 years ago still need protection? What secrets are buried with old blue eyes that require armed guards and surveillance cameras? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery behind Frank Sinatra's fortress-like final resting place. And trust me, the truth is more shocking than anything Hollywood ever created. Desert Memorial Park doesn't look like your typical celebrity cemetery. While Hollywood Forever has tourists taking selfies next to Marilyn Monroe's crypt, Desert Memorial Park operates more like a military compound. Security cameras monitor every angle. Guards patrol the grounds 24/7. And Frank Sinatra's grave? It's in the most secure section, surrounded by additional private security. But this wasn't always the case. When Sinatra was buried on May 20th, 1998, the security was standard for a celebrity funeral. It was only after a series of disturbing incidents that the Sinatra family made the decision to turn their father's grave into what cemetery staff privately called the first incident happened, just 3 months after his burial. A group of men in expensive suits arrived at the cemetery at 2 a.m. They weren't there to pay respects. Security footage shows them attempting to dig near the gravesite. When confronted by guards, they claimed to be collecting a debt and left immediately. To understand why Frank Sinatra's grave needs this level of protection, we need to go back to the beginning of his career. When a young singer from Hoboken made some very dangerous friends, Frank Sinatra's rise to fame wasn't just about his voice. It was about who he knew and what he knew about them. In the 1940s, Sinatra began performing at nightclubs owned by the mob. Not just any mob. We're talking about Lucky Luciano, Sam Giancana, and Johnny Roselli. These weren't casual business relationships. The FBI had been watching Sinatra since 1943. Their files, obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests, revealed that Sinatra wasn't just performing for mobsters. He was carrying messages between them. He was laundering money through his record deals. And most shocking of all, he was allegedly involved in a plot to assassinate Fidel Castro. A 1962 FBI memo states, subject, Sinatra has been utilized by organized crime figures as a courier and money launderer. His celebrity status provides perfect cover for illegal activities. But this was just the beginning. The real danger came from what Sinatra witnessed. According to former FBI agent William Raymer, who spent decades investigating the mob's connection to Hollywood, Sinatra was present during planning meetings for major crimes. He heard details about murders, extortion schemes, and political corruption that could destroy entire crime families. Sam Giancana, the Chicago mob boss, once told an FBI informant, Frank knows where all the bodies are buried. Literally. This wasn't just a figure of speech. Sinatra had allegedly witnessed the planning of several high-profile murders, including those of union leaders and rival gangsters. But the most dangerous knowledge Sinatra possessed involved the Kennedy assassination. Multiple FBI documents suggest that Sinatra was aware of mob involvement in JFK's death months before it happened. He had tried to warn the Kennedy family through his connections, but was ignored. This knowledge made Sinatra a target for the rest of his life. Former Chicago police detective Art Bilek revealed that there were at least 5 documented attempts on Sinatra's life between 1960 and 1980, all allegedly connected to his mob knowledge. Frank Sinatra's relationship with the Kennedy family was more complex and dangerous than the public ever knew. It wasn't just friendship, it was a web of political favors, mob connections, and deadly secrets. Sinatra had helped get JFK elected in 1960. He used his mob connections to secure union votes and campaign funding. But more importantly, he had arranged meetings between JFK and Sam Giancana, where deals were made that would later come back to haunt everyone involved. The deal was simple. The mob would help Kennedy win the presidency, and in return, the Kennedy administration would go easy on organized crime. But Robert Kennedy, as Attorney General, did the opposite. He launched the most aggressive anti-mob campaign in American history. This betrayal enraged the mob bosses, and they blamed Sinatra for vouching for the Kennedys. According to FBI wiretaps, Giancana told Sinatra, "You promised us the heat would be off. Now we got Bobby Kennedy crawling up our ass every day." But Sinatra's most dangerous knowledge involved the mob's plan for revenge. In early 1963, he was present at a meeting where the assassination of JFK was discussed. Multiple FBI sources confirmed that Sinatra tried to warn the Secret Service, but his mob connections made him an unreliable witness. After JFK's assassination, Sinatra knew he was marked for death. He hired bodyguards and rarely appeared in public without protection. But the mob's revenge wasn't immediate. It was patient and calculating. The plan was to wait until Sinatra died naturally, then steal his body and hold it for ransom. The mob believed that Sinatra had hidden evidence of their crimes, photographs, recordings, and documents that could destroy entire crime families. They were convinced this evidence was buried with him. The threats against Sinatra escalated dramatically in the 1980s and 1990s. As old mob bosses died or went to prison, their sons and lieutenants wanted to settle old scores. They also wanted to find the evidence they believed Sinatra had hidden. In 1987, Sinatra received a letter with a simple message: "We know what you took. Give it back or join your friend Sam." Sam Giancana had been murdered in 1975. Just before he was scheduled to testify about mob connections to the Kennedy assassination, the FBI took these threats seriously. A 1988 memo states, "Subject Sinatra remains a high-value target for organized crime families." His knowledge of historical criminal activities makes him extremely dangerous to their operations. But the most specific threat came in 1995. This insurance policy was allegedly a collection of photographs, audio recordings, and documents that Sinatra had gathered over decades of mob association. He had supposedly hidden evidence in multiple locations, including safe deposit boxes, with instructions that it would be released if anything happened to him. The most shocking revelation came from Sinatra's own family. In a 1997 interview, his daughter Nancy admitted that her father had been preparing for his death for years. He had made arrangements to ensure that certain secrets would go to the grave with him. When Sinatra died on May 14, 1998, his family immediately implemented extraordinary security measures. The funeral was limited to family and close friends. Multiple decoy hearses were used to confuse potential grave robbers. And most importantly, the actual burial location was kept secret for 48 hours. What was actually buried with Frank Sinatra remains one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries. According to cemetery records, the burial was delayed for an unusual amount of time, while special arrangements were made. Cemetery director Michael Thompson later revealed that the Sinatra family had made specific requests about the burial that he had never encountered before. The casket was specially reinforced with steel plating. The grave was dug deeper than normal and lined with concrete. And most mysteriously, a small metal box was placed in the grave alongside the casket. But the real shock came from Sinatra's will. A sealed section, only opened after his death, contained instructions for his burial that surprised even his family. He had requested that certain personal items be buried with him, including a sealed envelope marked for emergencies only. According to his longtime bodyguard, Jilly Rizzo, Sinatra had been paranoid about his death for years. He had told Rizzo, "When I go, they're going to come looking for stuff. Make sure they never find what they're looking for." The stuff Rizzo referred to was allegedly a collection of evidence that could implicate dozens of people in major crimes. This included photographs of mob meetings, audio recordings of criminal conversations, and documents proving corruption in the highest levels of government. But perhaps the most valuable item buried with Sinatra was a small black book containing names, dates, and details of every crime he had witnessed over 5 decades. This book, according to FBI sources, contained information that could solve dozens of cold cases and expose corruption that reaches into the present day. The mob's belief that this evidence was buried with Sinatra led to the first grave robbery attempt in 1998. The men who were caught digging near his grave were identified as associates of the Genovese crime family. They were looking for the metal box that witnesses had seen placed in the grave. The security around Sinatra's grave has only increased over the years. What started as standard celebrity protection has evolved into something resembling witness protection for the dead. In 2003, cemetery security intercepted communications, suggesting that a major grave robbery was being planned. The FBI was called in, and the investigation revealed that multiple crime families were still interested in what was buried with Sinatra. Former FBI agent John Connolly explained, even dead, Sinatra represents a threat to organized crime. The evidence he may have taken to his grave could still bring down people. Who are alive today? The most serious attempt came in 2010. A group of men with sophisticated digging equipment and ground-penetrating radar were caught surveying the cemetery. They had blueprints of the grave site and detailed plans for extracting the casket without being detected. But the threats aren't just from organized crime. Government agencies are also reportedly interested in what Sinatra took to his grave. Multiple sources suggest that the CIA and FBI have expressed interest in accessing his burial site, believing it may contain evidence related to the Kennedy assassination and other historical events. The Sinatra family has consistently refused all requests to exhume the body or examine the grave site. They have spent millions on security, legal fees, and privacy protection to ensure that their father's secrets remain buried. Today, the security around Sinatra's grave includes motion sensors, infrared cameras, and armed guards. The cemetery has a direct line to the FBI, and any suspicious activity is reported immediately. But perhaps the most telling sign of the ongoing threat is the fact that no member of the Sinatra family has visited the grave in over 5 years. They're too afraid that they might be followed or that their presence might trigger another robbery attempt. Frank Sinatra's grave remains under 24/7 security because the secrets he took to his grave are worth more than money. They re-worth lives. The evidence he allegedly buried with him could destroy reputations, solve cold cases, and expose corruption that reaches into the highest levels of government. The mob bosses who once called him friend now see his grave as a treasure chest of incriminating evidence. Law enforcement agencies view it as a potential goldmine of historical information. And the Sinatra family sees it as a fortress that must be protected at all costs. Whether the legendary evidence actually exists or is just the product of decades of speculation and paranoia, one thing is certain. Frank Sinatra's grave will remain one of the most heavily guarded places in America for years to come. The chairman of the board may be gone, but his secrets live on, buried 6 feet under and protected by an army of guards who ensure that some mysteries are meant to stay buried forever. As Sinatra himself once sang, "I did it my way." Even in death, he's still calling the shots. What do you think? Do you believe Frank Sinatra really took mob secrets to his grave? Or is this all just decades of speculation and urban legend? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story shocked you as much as it shocked me, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more celebrity mysteries that Hollywood doesn't want you to know about. Ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest investigations into the dark secrets of the entertainment industry. And if you're hungry for more celebrity conspiracies, check out our video about Marilyn Monroe's missing FBI files in the description below. Or click the card appearing on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and remember, in Hollywood, the biggest secrets are often buried with the stars themselves. Until next time, keep questioning everything.